phenomenal players, magnificent courts, and enthusiastically cheering crowd. Every year, the NBA brings the finest gameplays to the admirers. When it comes to the NBA drafts, we call it one of the most anticipated events for NBA fans. The draft class of each year discovers a new array of talent and stars for the future. But some draft classes from history not only brought raw talent to the ground, but also have particularly authored the record books. Yeah, we're talking about the top 10 greatest draft classes in the history of the NBA. Hey guys, we're back with another video. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at the top 10 draft classes of NBA history. Do you want to know which class drafted your favorite players? If yes, then make sure to watch the video until the end. Let's turn to history for the purpose and get to know things we never knew to date. But before that, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon to get all our videos on time. So, all the NBA fans, brace yourself and get ready for the ride. Without making you wait any longer, let's get straight into it. Number 10 on our list is the NBA draft of 1960. 6 players were selected in this draft, but only 3 kept playing for more than 5 seasons. The focal players of the 1960 draft were Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, and Lenny Wilkens. We all know that Oscar Robertson is the best triple-double player of all time, and Jerry West is one of the best Lakers of all time. They both got selected in the 1960 draft, even though only 3 players of the 1960 draft appeared in multiple All-Star games. But these match-leading players of the NBA are enough to put the 1960s draft on the list of the top 10. Number 9. On our list is the NBA draft of 1960. According to the critics, the draft of 1960 was one of the best drafts in the history of the NBA, as this draft brought the most competitive players to the fields. The top picks from the draft included Bob Lanier, Rudy Tomjanovich, Pete Maverick, Dave Cowens, and Sam Lacey. And each of these players played at least 10 seasons and ruled the battlefield with their exceptional skills. You surely have heard of Dan Issel, who dominated the league for 6 years. He was also selected in the 122nd overall in the 1970 draft. Are you excited for the next best draft of the NBA? Well, let's not wait any further. Number 8 on our list is the NBA draft of 1985. To add to your amazement, 8 players of the 1985 draft class were ranked among the 125 best players of NBA history. It's impressive and astounding at the same time to see that 8 irreplaceable players of the National Basketball Association belong to the same draft class. The best players of the draft were Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Terry Porter, Detlef Schrempf, A.C. Green, Chris Mullin, Charles Oakley, and Joe DeMars. So, now you know that why the draft class of 1985 was, without doubt, one of the best draft classes in NBA history. Number 7. Number 7 on our list is the NBA draft class of 1987. This draft class produced a number of exceptional players, talented coaches, and general managers that made key contributions to NBA history. Total 12 players were picked during this draft, and 10 of them contributed to accumulate at least 46 career win shares. Although it is difficult to select which was the best player of the 1987 draft, many would agree that Scottie Pippen was the best player of the 1987 draft class. He is one of the most talented and offensive players, and also one of the greatest perimeter defenders of all time. Number 6 on our list is the draft class of 1996. If we could place more than one draft at number 1, we would have placed the 1996 there too. And the reason for this is that the draft of 1996 was filled with legends. Kobe Bryant is arguably a top 5 NBA player of all time. He was selected during the draft class of 1996. However, Kobe Bryant is not the only legend from this draft class. It also includes Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, and Steve Nash. All of them were the best guards to ever play in the game. How can we forget Derek Fisher, who hit some of the biggest shots in NBA history? He was also selected in the NBA draft of 1996. This is some crazy stuff from the NBA history, isn't it? But hold on, you all. There are 5 more amazing drafts yet to come. Number 5 on our list is the draft class of 1999. It seems like the era of the 90s was a golden one for the NBA, because many gold players became part of the NBA during this period. Like the draft of 1996, the draft of 99 produced some of the most phenomenal players of the NBA. Even though this draft didn't produce any top 20 level talent, it was still blessed with tenacious players who made their mark in the history of the league. The famous names of this draft were Shawn Marion, Elton Brands, and Manu Ginobili. Number 4 on our list is the NBA draft class of 1984. The most exciting thing about this draft class of 1984 is that 20 drafted players of this class accumulated at least 160 win shares. That's undoubtedly a remarkable contribution from a draft towards the league. The big names of this draft are Charles Barkley, John Stockton, and Michael Jordan. These names are enough to justify this draft's place in the top 10. Other convincing players from this league include Otis Thorpe, Sam Perkins, and Jerome Kersey. Number 3 on our list is the draft class of 2009. The draft class of 2009 has produced multiple players in the top 30. The draft class of the NBA is not too old, so we can expect some leading performances from the drafted players of this class in the future. However, for now, the draft class of 2009 has provided us 3 best players of the league that are Stephen Curry, James Harden, and Blake Griffin. We do expect that the draft of 2009 will give us more records to count in the future. Are you excited to know about which draft class of the NBA is number 2? Well, we won't test your patience. At number 2, we have the draft class of 2011. As the draft class of 2009, this draft class is also not old, so we can expect better performances from the players of these drafts in the future. The draft class of 2011 is one of the most solid drafts in NBA history. The star power, along with the depth, is exceptional in this draft. The best players of this draft include Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson. And it's time for number 1. Can you guess which draft class it could be? Let me give you a hint. It's a draft class from the first decade of the 21st century. And yes, you got it right. Number 1 on our list is the draft class of 2003. This draft class is considered the best draft class in the history of the NBA. The star players of this draft class are LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bose, players who made the greatest squad of top 5 players in NBA history. The draft of 2003 has produced 4 Hall of Fame players, along with several high-end role players. Famous players of the 2003 draft like Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James are working to set new milestones in the league. So guys, that was it. Really hope you enjoyed the video. Which NBA draft class included your favorite player? Tell us below in the comments. If you liked the video, do give us a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. We'll be back in another amazing video. Until then, stay tuned and stay curious.